Hey, so if you happen to be checking us out right now, Stormfront Freaks podcast this is episode 87. This is Stormfront Freaks Raw. If you're watching us live, this is the recording of our show that we edit for broadcast and for uploading later. But this is, if you're watching live, you can follow us, especially if you're on YouTube. You can actually follow us in the chat. You're welcome to share any questions or things like that you might have for our guests tonight. We've got Chris White, who heads up the Mid-Atlantic ChaserCon, and we have JT Cooper, who heads up the Indiana Chaser Convention. And they're with us tonight, so they're going to be our guests, but this is the recording, so you're going to catch everything with this version. You're going to catch all of our breaks and behind the scenes. Possible you might want to wear earmuffs because you never know what we might say that we might edit out of the other show. But this is the recording, so welcome if you're tuning in on this version. The podcast itself, we edit and usually release that the following Sunday. So as of today, we're recording this Thursday, the 5th of September. So probably expect around September 8th, the edited podcast to be available. And that we edit it so it's shorter and we don't have all the breaks and craziness that's going to be on. So we're waiting for one more for Kim to join us, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Wasn't there a famous JT Cooper, or is it TJ Cooper?
You're thinking of maybe DB Cooper.
That would be it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely infatuated with DB Cooper and that whole story. So, yeah.
Who's that?
So back in the 70s, there was a guy who hijacked a Northeastern, I think at that time, Airlines out of Seattle. He hijacked it and demanded like $250,000, which is like 100 and some odd thousand now, or 1 million now. And he jumped out of the plane. He had him fly it back to Nevada. And he jumped out of the plane, and they never found him and never found the money. And that's actually why
jump out while it was in the air.
Yes, while it was in the air, and they never actually found out who it was. And that's actually the whole reason why there's airport security now, was because of DB Cooper.
Really?
Yeah,
he started that.
So are you related in case they find the money?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. So I heard about it, and I was like, oh, that's my last name. And then I started reading about it and watching stuff on it, and I just found it really interesting.
There's TJ Hooker. Were you thinking of TJ Hooker?
Bill Shatner.
No, exactly. There we go.
Completely different meaning.
A little bit different person too. And there's Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Hey.
Look at that.
You thought I skipped out on you guys.
We got the whole gang. No, we never thought that.
Wow. I couldn't find the link again, the one to get to this. So anyway, I found it. I did some searching. I got it. Yeah.
Detective Kim.
That's me. How is everybody?
We're good. Welcome back.
Good. Thank you. What a great show. Queen was incredible.
Really? Okay. With Adam who?
Adam Lambert.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam Lambert. I've heard he's pretty good with that.
He really is. I mean, what I loved about it is that he didn't try to be Freddie Mercury. He didn't try to take the show. It was really Brian May and Roger Taylor who really led the show. I mean, I don't know. It was really good. Well done. Anyway,
cool.
Happy to be back. Hi, you guys. Hello, guests.
Hello.
All right. So here's what we'll do. Let's quick rundown. Did everybody, can you just double check that you have your camera settings on the highest 720p high definition?
Yep.
Make sure you've done
Copy that. It's there.
Everybody sounds like they're using their microphone if they have one. So I think, Maz, tap yours again. Good.
Yep.
Good. Kim, you're good. All right.
Yep. Good.
Don't forget, mute your phones. How's my mic volume coming through, MJ? Compared to
I think it's fine. I don't everybody notice anything bad about it.
No, it's good.
Good. Okay.
Sounds good.
Try and keep your mic close to you, obviously. Everyone's head, top of the screen. Kim, you might be cutting your head off a little bit. I don't know if you can move it. There you go.
Okay, how's that?
Good.
Better? Okay.
Much better.
All right.
Perfect. And if any reason you get knocked off the same link, we'll be able to get right back into the show. So we'll get started. We'll do our quick little intro. and then introduce our co-host by asking, what are you drinking? Now, JT and Chris, did you bring any libations to share tonight?
Water.
Water, okay.
And water.
And
come
water.
on.
Actually, this is
all right.
vodka. That we'll just say that.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
Here we go.
All right, so I'm not going to ask you guys what you're drinking. That's too boring. Because we'll introduce you anyway right after that. So after we finish that, then Kim, you're doing the introduction. You good on that?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do an intro. We'll start with the questions. And at some point, roughly about 25 after, we'll take a little break. But then come right back at that point with a few questions and our lightning round. So anybody, any questions before we start? Again, if you happen to be watching us live, welcome to Stormfront Freaks Raw. And I think I'm going to double check. We're good on the sound effects. All right. So here we go. Coming in 3, 2. Hey, welcome everybody to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. Hey, if you happen to be listening for the first time, thanks for the download. Don't forget to visit stormfrontfreaks.com so you can access our library of past shows. We've had famous guests from the weather industry like storm chasers from SVL Media and the tornado trackers, just to name a few. But this is episode 87, and we're talking ChaserCons with JT Cooper and Chris White are with us tonight. So we're going to have some fun. Funning all about ChaserCons. Maybe you're going to want to start your own, but we'll also be pitting them against each other. This is going to be fun. When you have two guests, you can have a fun lightning round. So we're going to pit them against each other in our lightning round. We'll also be visiting some recent hashtag weather fools later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. But before we get to everything, it's always happy hour here when we record at the Stormfront Freaks Bar. We always invite our listeners to join us, so I hope you are joining us. As I say, as long as you're not at work or driving, I think pretty much every other opportunity
or at church.
is safe,
You're
right?
Church, it's not good either. I
Church,
think.
yeah.
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 Well,
but
okay.
you're
When's the
probably
last
not
time you were at
listening.
church?
You're not listening to a podcast. At
Hope
church.
not. You hope
Yeah.
not.
That's true. You probably could throw it in the little ear and.
Oh, yeah.
All
Those
right.
little jabras.
So
Oh,
let's.
yeah.
So it's happy hour. We always find out what everybody's drinking. It just kind of sets up the mood of our show. It's laid back. We like to have a lot of fun with our guests. So MJ, I was going to start with you. What are you drinking tonight, sir?
So tonight I have again a Captain and Coke. It's just my go-to.
It is a good go-to.
Those glasses are getting bigger, I think.
Visit
each
you more
episode.
often.
No,
And
same time.
thicker.
It's like a
It's all
tankard.
perspective. How far he holds it.
Oh,
up to the
okay.
camera.
All right.
All right, Maz. What are you drinking this
I
evening?
have a really big beer. No, it's
Fathead.
Fathead's Bumble Beer. Bumbleberry.
Oh,
It's really good. It's really good.
Berry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You put my whole name in there, huh?
that's a nice summer beer.
All right. Yeah, it's awesome. This is
Yeah.
one of our favorites for our family. If I say family, I don't mean the kids.
Hey, we're getting into the fall. This is one of my favorite beer times. Is the fall with
Yeah.
Oktoberfest and pumpkin beers, all that good stuff. Kim, what are you drinking?
Well, I don't have a beer. I've got
Okay.
wine tonight, so
That's fine.
I'm drinking my
Drink the
my
same.
go-to, which is Apothic Red. So I'm enjoying that.
Mm.
That's it.
Apothic Red. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, welcome
It's a good
back.
one, a good red blend. Thank you.
Well, let's do this. Let's jump to our guests. I'm excited about talking ChaserCons, and so we got a couple great guests on tonight. So Kim, go ahead and let us know who we got here.
All right. We want to welcome Chris White and JD Cooper. Chris White began chasing storms in May of 2002. And after retiring as a civilian in the Defense Department, Chris joined the Virginia Tech Severe Weather Field Course, AKA the Hokie Storm Chasers, as a volunteer from 2011 to 2018, and founded the Mid-Atlantic ChaserCon in 2018. And we also have Joseph Cooper, or known as JT. He's also a meteorologist and a co-owner at TDS Weather. He studied meteorology at the College of DuPage and Mississippi State University. JT has been a storm chaser for 17 years and is also the founder and co-organizer of the Indiana Storm Chasers Convention, started in 2011. Well, guys, welcome. We really appreciate you coming on tonight. And interesting, you both have kind of a similar background in many ways with being chasers, but I mean, you both started these chaser conventions, and I'm just kind of curious, maybe one at a time, what gets you to a point when you've been chasing all those years to say, you know what, maybe we'll get a convention together? Chris, why don't you start?
Sure. Well, I've always wanted to go to the National ChaserCon, which is typically held in the wintertime, most of the time out in Denver, although they have moved it around a little bit. I could never seem to pull a trigger on that, given times, schedules, money, and the time of the year to go out there. So I knew that there were a number of chasers around here, especially after Virginia Tech started their meteorology program back in 2012, I believe it was. They've had a number of chaser trips that I've been on, and I knew there were a number of chasers in this area, in the Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina area. So that's why I decided, hey, maybe we need to have a conference around here that we can pull people together and swap lives and learn from each other, and that's why I decided to start it.
So you actually got out of the Defense Department? I thought they were like the mafia. They keep pulling you back in.
I don't know. I think they used a little flashy thing on me when I left. I don't remember anything.
I remember nothing.
Are you sure you worked for there? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, JT, what about you?
Well, I actually attended the National Storm Chasers Convention when it was out in Denver a couple years. And, it always seemed like about, early January, since it's in February, always Valentine's Day weekend, it seems like. We'd have friends from here in Indiana and be like, yeah, we're going to go, we're going to go this year. And then it'd be like me and like one or two other people. And so we would go out there and, we had a good time. And there was just so many people here in Indiana and around the area that were like, yeah, we'd love to go. It just doesn't seem like we have the time to dedicate to it or the money to dedicate to it or whatever. And I was like, why don't we just do one here locally? I mean, we've got some, great chasers like, obviously Adam Lucio now, who lives down in Texas, but Skip Talbot and some great meteorologists like Brian Wilkes here in Indianapolis, who's pretty well known and interned under Tom Skilling. And I was like, we have some great people that could, really talk and we could bring together. And, so just kind of put it together. And luckily I had my foot in the door from storm chasing for a while and getting to meet from some of these people. And so I kind of, got them to come in and got it started.
That's amazing. I mean, so do you visit other chaser cons? I mean, so are you thinking, okay, I visited there. I want it to be like this. I don't want to do that. Or so how are you similar and how are you guys different, I guess?
Well, JT knows my first ChaserCon was his ChaserCon, the Indiana ChaserCon back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I warned him and Beth before I came out there that I was going to ask 101 questions. And I think I asked at least 99 of them, right, JT?
Yeah.
So I really just wanted to know, how to get it off the ground. What do they do? How, the organization, the logistics, who do they talk to? How do they actually transpire, get it started and off the ground? And they've obviously got a lot longer track record than mine does, but I learned a lot from those two.
So tell me, what do you guys, real quick, what happens at a chaser convention? I mean, tell me, is it a couple days? Is it one day? Do you have guest speakers? I mean, what's involved? I've never been to one, but I'm curious.
That's a hint, by the way, that maybe you should invite Kim to be a guest speaker.
All right, yeah, Kim, you're coming to Indiana this November.
All right, well, Cincinnati's my hometown, very close.
Okay. So ours is generally one day. Like the National Storm Chasers Convention is like a Friday night through a Sunday morning, but we do ours, or have been doing ours, mainly on a Saturday. And we have, we'll have like an ice, we'll get together in the morning and have coffee and donuts. We provide that. And then we'll have speakers, usually a couple speakers before lunch, and then we'll have lunch and come back and have another 3 speakers or so in the afternoon. And but now we're actually thanks to SVL, we're actually they're kind of doing an icebreaker Friday night. So we just invite everybody to that, and it's free. It's at a hotel, and it's just like, we just all get together and kind of hang out and have a good time and drink some beers or whatever you want and have some bagels. We have some people that bring bagels from New York, so
nice.
Those are pretty. Yeah, they bring in this. They bring in this cookie dough cream cheese spread, and man, that stuff is just. I think I gained 3 pounds on it last year, but yeah, it's kind of expanded into not just Saturday, but now Friday night. But it's mainly just one day.
Right, and that's what we do with ours too. Last year was our first one, of course, and it was just on Saturday. And we're having it last year and this year at the Science Museum of Virginia in Richmond. It's a really nice venue. And last year we had speakers, mainly speakers that I knew through my network of people. A lot of you know Catherine Prosiv,
Sure.
and she's a former Hokie Storm Chaser. She rode in my van for a few thousand miles.
Lucky
And,
you playing
we
your
want
guitar.
stories. Yeah, we want
Yeah.
stories.
Did you bring your guitar?
No, there wasn't enough room for the guitar.
Oh, okay.
So we had her and some local television meteorologists in the area, and a couple of National Weather Service folks speak. And then this year, I wanted to expand it both geographically and to bring in some other folks. So we actually have people coming in from, if you know, I'm sure most of you know the name Brad Panovich coming in from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be speaking. Dr. John Scala coming in from Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be coming down to talk about integrated weather impact teams, because we really want to pull in the emergency management side of things this year. So we're working hard for that. And then we've got, again, National Weather Service folks and a couple of chasers. And we will have a chaser panel talk after lunch. So ours is mainly, last year was all on Saturday. This year's Saturday. But we're also dipping our toes in the water of a mixer on Friday nights this year, just like JT talked about.
Is it open to the public, or I mean, how do you advertise these things?
If you want to, mostly social media. I mean, social media is kind of the way of how we do it, and we have been doing it. And it's open to the public. We always try to make sure that we put extra emphasis on this is not just for a meteorologist or a storm chaser or a storm spotter. I mean, if you're a weather enthusiast and you're interested, or you just want to come and see some cool pictures, I mean, anybody's more than welcome to attend this. We're happy to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say along the same lines, just social media. And then last year, the local Richmond newspaper did an article ahead of time on our ChaserCon, and that was picked up by a lot of services. It was BH Media owns the newspaper, so that went across the wire to a lot of papers. That's where, besides social media, that's where we got a lot of notice.
I forgot what I was going to say. Phil, you go ahead.
I was laughing a little bit only because
getting old.
Kim was finishing her wine, going, Yep, I thought that was kind of funny. So, what I want to know this: how are you guys soliciting your speakers? Obviously, starting off probably was a little bit more of a challenge, or maybe it still is. But what's your method of reaching out to people and finding people that would be able to do this?
Well, for me, like I said, I mean, I've been very active in the storm chaser community for 17 years. So, reaching out to storm chasers was no problem because I knew Adam Lucio, I knew Skip Talbots, I knew, people like that, Jen Ubel. And so I knew local meteorologists because I'd been like for Fox 59, which is a local television station. I'd been like a kind of a weather spotter for them for a while. And I was good friends with Brian Wilk. So I was lucky enough to have my foot in the door in a lot of places. Now, obviously people like Victor Gensini, who we had, he was my intro to meteorology professor up at the College of DuPage. And I have, had the most tremendous, or still have the most tremendous respect for him. So, and with all his tornado research, I was super excited to get him down. So I've just been fortunate to know a lot of people. Now we've gotten some people in there that we've just emailed and said, hey, this is taken off. We'd love to have you. I think people would be really interested in hearing what you have to talk about. And we think it'd be good for the chaser community, good for the weather community. And, we get no's all the time, but, there's a lot of times we get yeses as well.
We get a lot of no's too.
If they work at the Weather Channel.
You're right.
Wow, that seems to be the common thing. No,
Exactly. I found that this year it's helped quite a bit to I have a support group, I guess, through our planning staff. And one person that we added the planning staff that helped a lot this year was Aubrey Urbanowitz. She's a chief meteorologist here, and not too far from me. She's just up the road in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So she was able to reach out to some folks that I didn't know, and got some people in like Howard Bernstein, who's a TV meteorologist out of the D.C. area. He'll be talking about the F4 tornado that hit La Plata, Maryland, back in 2002. So it's people like that, and as JT said, I chase in conjunction with a local TV station here in Roanoke, and I've chased for one of the stations in Richmond. So I was able to tap on a couple of those meteorologists as well.
What JT? Because you guys have a little bit longer history. Who have been some of your favorite speakers that you've had, and what have you found the audience and the participants to really like? Because I'm sure you guys do some kind of a survey following your So favorite speakers for you, and what have you found to be I don't know the word I'm thinking,
so I think my favorite speakers are a lot of the crowd's favorite speakers. I like Brian Wilkes a lot. He's a local meteorologist here out of Indianapolis at WXIN Fox 59. And he's just a people person. I remember the first time he came in, we had him there the first year, and I had him, I think he was on at like 2:00 or 1:30 after lunch, and it's like 1:28, and I'm like, where is this guy? And he walks in, he's like, hey JT, pull up the 500 millibar vorticity map and just stay up there and we'll pull through it. And he just sits there and talks, and he's going through these numbers, and he's just a people person. He doesn't even need a presentation. He just goes up there and talks about what he does. He's really funny. He's just really fun to listen to. Jennifer Ubel, she's, some of you guys know her. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. She is a photographer and an amazing photographer. I remember the first year we brought her in, she done like a slideshow of her photographs and put it to some music. And I was just absolutely like, just awe-inspired. I mean, it was the most amazing thing I had seen as far as like storm chasing, especially when it comes to pictures. She was really great. Victor Gensini was really, really good. I was trying to think of some of my other ones. I really like Skip. He's very informative. He's very in-depth. So, I mean, those are my favorites, and those have been a lot of the crowd's favorites as well. I mean, basically those same. Every year, if we don't have Brian Wilkes, we get questions, where is Brian Wilkes? Like, and we're like, we can't have him every year. Like, we want to mix it up some, but we always get that question.
It's like Waldo. Where's Waldo?
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, people are like, well, when's Brian coming back? And we're like, well, we'll have him back. Don't worry. It's just, we're not going to have him back every year. So he's by far our most requested speaker, even though he's not really like nationally known or anything.
So where do you guys see the future of this, or where do you actually hope things will go?
Well, from our perspective, we're just kind of taking baby steps right now, trying to feel out both the geographic area and the subject areas. One area that we have not touched on, we may in the future, is hurricanes. Obviously, this is hurricane season right now. We're familiar with, Dorian's effects are about 100 miles southeast of me right now. But we may expand into that, depending on how we can get some research people in here. Really, the struggle that I had and still have in the chaser community, if you just want to talk about that, is finding lady chasers. I mean, that was why I was excited to have Catherine in last year, because she's a tremendous speaker and very articulate, but she represents the ladies, and I've been having trouble finding enough of those folks to come in. So I'm looking to balance that out quite a bit with our speakers.
Yeah. If I'm okay to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
For us, I mean, obviously we want to continue to growing. For us, we really just do this because there's, I know there's people in the Midwest, like I said, that can't make it out to Oklahoma City or Denver. So, it's really because we're involved with the local chase community, and we want to give them the opportunity, to attend something like this, learn, have fun, meet each other. The thing I've thought about is, and I'm sure you guys know, is like, when it comes to weather, severe weather, and I love severe weather, but when it comes to weather, nothing beats winter weather. I mean, I don't like winter weather, but a lot of people love winter weather. And so the thing we've thought about is expanding it into having some kind of, maybe not included with the Storm Chasers Convention, but doing kind of a secondary thing sometime to talk about winter weather. But the big thing we've ran into with that is, especially trying to get it going, is like, who are we going to have talk, and I mean, there's people out there that would be great, great to talk, but it's like a lot of these people I don't really know personally. And just coming from experience, it's really hard that if they don't really know who you are or what you're doing, or you say, oh, well, these are a bunch of storm chasers. Sometimes, meteorologists are kind of like, I don't really want to do that. So
Well, we've gone 87 episodes with that same challenge. So.
yeah. Well, no, but winter weather, it's not like, storm chasers, I can just reach out and say, hey, this is a storm chaser. I know him. You want to come speak? And
Right.
most of the time I get a yes. And, but with, there are people that chase obviously like blizzards and winter storms and stuff, but it's just, it's kind of a little bit smaller of a niche community in the winter weather as far as kind of getting people to talk or speak about it.
Plus, the older you get, the less you like cold weather. So,
well,
So I've heard.
I'm 31 and I've hated it for about 5 years, so I don't know what that means, but
It's
Still
a
a baby.
sign. It's a sign
Oh,
not to do winter.
it's just a sign of the times, right?
Winter convention. So, hey, tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. Go ahead and refill your drink and check out our exclusive tracker chat with the Tornado Trackers as they chase Hurricane Dorian. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All righty. Good job. Hey, we got
Yeah,
any
good
live
job.
questions?
No.
He's like,
Are we live?
What monitor is that on?
We are yes. Oh, we got people that hate cold weather too. They don't like that.
Yeah.
We've got
All right, that's a sign.
we've got Parker with us. He sets 3 alarms now to make sure he doesn't miss the show. So we love his dedication for sure.
Damn.
Oh,
Isn't that
nice.
amazing?
Wow.
the other people are still on Google Hangouts.
That's right.
I think I used that for all of about 2 seconds, and I was like, who even uses Google Hangouts? But no.
Yeah, we
Wow.
would still be on it if they didn't.
Yeah, we
cut it,
would probably.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so
But
glad
this
that we
is
did
good.
do this.
I know it's like the Brady Bunch here with all the
Mhm.
boxes. It's pretty cool.
Isn't it fun?
Y'all got to look at each other now, like,
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, there you
Uh,
turn
yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
I'm looking at the wrong way.
I know.
Right, that was true. I was going to high five MJ, and I was slapping JT in the face.
JT,
what
turn
we
to the
need
left. There's
is
nobody there.
is so I can bring the eyeglasses down on Chris.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. We will come back. I've still got a couple questions for you guys. And feel free too if any of Maz, Kim, any of you guys want to bring up. Obviously, they got some chasing experience as well.
Yeah, okay.
You could bring that up too. But I still have a couple questions on the convention stuff, and then we'll jump into the lightning round. And MJ, just so you know, no, I'm going to for that. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, okay.
Application window. That's not what I want.
Wait for it. It's exciting, everybody.
Does it share over the
I'll
whole
just have
box?
another
Or
drink.
just
The
over
drama.
I don't know why it's not letting
Where's
me share.
where's Hangouts when you need it, right?
Phil? Yeah.
I'll share the whole thing, I guess. Words. I need to share a Word doc,
Okay.
but it's not.
Is it not doing the word application window?
Words not showing up. Yeah, as an option to applicate.
Maybe you can only do web. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to share the entire screen,
Just fax it over.
and then you don't have to show it now.
Mail
but
it.
That
I won't.
that's
Snail
what I'm gonna
mail.
pull up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Go back to this, and I can switch back. Yeah.
Oh, you put your screen
Okay.
up there. It rearranged all my things on the bottom. So now, okay. That's all right.
Sorry.
All of our names are different.
Yes.
Oh, are they really?
I want to be Maz.
No.
Could I be
I was like, that's
DB
a piece of
Cooper?
crap program that does.
No, I want to be DB Cooper.
That's right.
Yeah,
Make
everybody
easy.
does.
I just
All
want
right.
his money.
Well, quick shout out again, everyone that's watching live. So we'll go to the lightning round, and then when we're done with the lightning round, I'll just kind of ask you guys how they can follow you, information about where they can obviously get tickets or learn more about the ChaserCons, and then we'll take another break. And then at that point, you guys, you're welcome to stick around for the final segments, or you can leave. Either way, we're cool.
Okay.
But I appreciate you giving us the time tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're with Indiana and Mid-Atlantic ChaserCon organizers, JT Cooper and Chris White. My question, you guys, was this: what challenges have you faced, or you remember facing, kind of starting your ChaserCon and putting it together? What were the speed bumps? JT, you first, since you got a little more history there.
Okay. A few of the speed bumps, obviously, first off, getting enough people to speak the first couple of years. I think the first year we might only had like 4 or something. That was one, probably, honestly, the biggest challenge is finding somewhere to host it, because we started off in a library locally, and then we went to, our third or fourth year, a couple years there, we actually hosted it up at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway up at Brickyard Crossing Golf Course. And then, it's kind of been a little bit of a challenge to find places that host it. Those are probably the main 2 challenges. Everybody's been great to come. The only challenge I will say that's been like, I've really kind of bit my nails on, is it always seems right around that second week of November, we always have some kind of a severe weather event. And we've had multiple severe weather events that fall within like a day or 2 of the Storm Chasers convention. And I've had speakers be like, I don't even know if I'm going to show up if there's like a moderate or high risk in Illinois or something. I'm like, oh Lord, what are we going to do? So, I mean, that's been a little bit nerve-wracking.
That's a commitment right there.
It is, yeah. And I need to have 3 presentations ready in case I have to do all 3 of them, I guess. But, but no, the biggest challenge is just, at least initially, was finding speakers. We don't really have that issue as much anymore. And we've found a venue. So, our biggest challenges now, is really, there's so many kind of small details that are, go into it, whether it's just, making sure the sound works properly, or making sure that, we get the right amount of coffee, for everybody in the morning. It's the more challenging aspect of it now is really the small details.
What about you, Chris? Challenges you've come across already in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think our main challenge to begin with is we wanted to make this an affordable convention for people and not charge them an arm and a leg. But on the other hand, I didn't want to lose money at it either. So finding a place, as JT said, finding a place to host was financially restrained. And I could find a lot of places around the Richmond area, which is pretty central to Mid-Atlantic, because there's interstates coming in and out of there. There's an airport there, but they were fairly expensive. And I happened to kind of stumble across the fact that the Science Museum offers rooms to rent that are like 1/2 to 1/3 of what everybody else was charging. Mm-hmm. So that kind of sealed the deal for us. And I think we'll probably be there from here on out. And besides that, it's more, again, getting speakers and finding people who are available. I mean, I had several people in mind this year that I would love to have had, but there was a conflict with their schedule. So, I guess the only other thing I could throw out there was that I'm always sitting there, the last few weeks, which is when most people will buy tickets, is, chewing on my fingernails, making sure hopefully we have enough people buying tickets.
Those cheap rooms, they don't rent them by the hour, do they?
No.
No. That's a different convention.
Okay, all right.
And just to add to that, I actually had a meteorologist here from Indianapolis. She was supposed to speak, and the day she was supposed to speak, she went into labor. And so I ended up having luckily I had a backup presentation, so I just got up and done a presentation myself. So we did have that happen one year.
Now that's an excuse. I mean, I can see.
Yeah.
That
Oh
one.
yeah.
Definitely.
She felt really bad about
That's
it,
legit.
and I was like, no, just it's fine. You don't have to apologize.
Well, there is just so you guys know, there is a Best of Stormfront Freaks podcast presentation, and there's a Chaser guest tip compilation, that we've put together of all of our past Chaser guests when they talk about tips and how they deck out their cars and what they like to use. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, there
There's
you
some
go.
options there. Backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Backup options.
Yeah.
So how do you guys when you choose speakers or you ask them to speak, do they just come up with a topic of their own, or do you have themes? Do you tell them what you want them to speak on? How does that work?
She's fishing.
For us, honestly, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We have like, especially there'll be certain people that we see within the community that we're like, we would really like, for instance, we had Skip Talbot come in, and he's, he has been over in Africa doing like some research, putting up weather stations on to do research on like global warming. So I messaged him like, hey, this isn't even storm chasing related, but I would love to have you come in and talk about, what you're doing over there. And he has tons of just these crazy stories that have happened to him while he's in Africa. And so, we did, we were like, hey, we want you to do this. Victor Ginsini, we're like, we want you to talk about, your tornado research. But then we have people that we'll bring in and we'll be like, whatever you want to talk about, feel free to talk about it. I mean, that's, it doesn't really, it's always nice just to have somebody say, I'm going to talk about this. And it's kind of a surprise to all of us. And we don't really have like a kind of an agenda or anything particularly we want them to talk about or say. So it's okay. Both for us, really.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
I would agree with that. It's a little bit of an iterative process, finding people that would speak. And, I found too, if you give somebody a blank sheet, sometimes they go blank. But if you give them, rough idea, like, hey, we'd like you to talk about severe weather in your television market, for instance, then let them come up with that and we can iterate on those topics. But for the most part, it's in their balls in their court. And, for instance, last year, we were fortunate to get David Hoadley to come speak, who, for those of you who don't know, he's the father of American storm chasing. I mean, he's been storm chasing since the 50s.
Oh, my gosh.
And he came in and gave a knockout presentation of, just how it used to be, the old chasing with a weather radio and paper maps kind of thing.
And that was me.
Yeah, I've done that too. So
and a bottle of wine.
And yeah, probably so.
So tell me guys a little bit if the last question I kind of have on the Chaser conventions, two things. Number one, I want you each to sell me if I enjoy weather, but I don't really chase. I like following it, and I like severe weather and all that kind of stuff, but I might be a little cautious about attending something like this because maybe I'll feel like I don't fit in. Mm-hmm. So sell me on why I should come. Let's do that first. So Chris, I'll start with you.
I mean, I can't toss it to JT.
You can't, no.
Well, the reason you should come is if you have an interest in severe weather, this is a great place to come to learn more about it. There will be people who not only have chased storms, but meteorologists, forecasters, National Weather Service, television people that understand how storms form. And you understand more about the warning process, you understand more about what to do if a severe storm is in your area. And you can have a lot of fun just meeting people of the same mind.
I hope
JT?
you guys, I was going to say, I hope you guys also talk about your own personal experience of like what you got into, why you got into weather, or have that, just that big inquiry. Because as we go around the country, I love hearing what was it for this person that really got them interested.
Well, from our aspect, I try to just start the ball rolling in the morning and then just step out of the way. I don't do a lot of talking so far about myself. Although I do, like JT, had that experience at the last minute. I do have a backup presentation in my pocket if I have to talk. So,
JT, what about you? Sell me on why I'm a weather geek. I love weather, but you're this big storm chaser, and you got all these storm chasers coming in, and I'm worried about fitting in.
Yeah, I mean, so simply, it's a great opportunity to learn. It's a great opportunity to see some really, if you're a storm chaser, you love storms. You love to see them. You love to experience them. It's a great opportunity to see what other chasers have experienced, what they've saw, and overall, it's a great place to do it because it's not like you're walking into necessarily like a severe weather symposium or something at a university where it's like, oh, I'm here with all these learned people. Even though, a lot of us do have quite a bit of intelligence within the field of meteorology. But it's just super laid back. In the morning we have coffee and donuts. You grab that, you talk to people. Everybody's super nice. We have booths set up in the back, and you can go talk to people that are at these booths, whether it's SVL or whether it's National Weather Service or college or whatever. And it's just a really laid back, fun environment. There's no pressure. If you want to go and talk to everybody there, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want to go and hang out by yourself and just enjoy it, you're more than welcome to do that. And so it's just like, we want to make it incorporative for everybody, and just make it a really relaxed, fun environment. So nobody feels like they're, have to be stressed about it. And then they can take that. And I think, that stress-free environment is a great environment to not only just meet people, but also to learn. So.
And Icebreaker Friday helps too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, just, we have some people that maybe get a little, drink a few too many beers Friday night. And so, they're missing the first couple presentations of the day, but after lunch, they're back. And, we always get people that are like, well, so-and-so's not making it. They'll be here about 1:30. and to be completely honest, I can't say, when I attended the National Storm Chasers convention, that didn't happen to me once, but,
Sure.
so, I'll, being up front, but the icebreaker that Friday night is a great event. It's a lot of fun.
Was the national one in Vegas?
No, it was not. It was in Denver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
When they go to Vegas, give me a call.
All right. Most exciting chase you've been on, Chris. What's the most exciting chase you've been on personally?
Personally, it was here in Virginia back in September of 2004 when the remnants of Hurricane Ivan came through. There was a tornado outbreak that burst out in the area. I was living in Northern Virginia at the time when I was working for the government, and I was able to chase the what wound up being the F3 tornado that was the strongest of the bunch that day. And I was chasing actually with my son and daughter-in-law, and we tracked that tornado, actually drove through the damage path, tracked it up until we finally had to give up because of Friday afternoon traffic coming out of DC. But that was pretty exciting for me.
How about you, JT?
Well, I'm going to give two, and I'll try to get through them quick. So the first one,
overachiever.
I know. So the first one was the Parkersburg EF5 back on May 25th of 2008.
Wow.
We actually core punched that from the north.
Ouch.
And came through and couldn't see the tornado for a while and finally got far enough south. And I looked over and there's this I'm looking off into space thinking, but there's this massive wedge tornado, probably like, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile from us. It's so wide that in the video, it doesn't even actually fit in our camera frame.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so we're like just hauling south. I mean, I'm like, just go south, just go south, just go south. And we get into the RFD and it's throwing like softball size hail onto the car. We got lucky though, because it didn't actually break the windshield somehow. I think it had actually got picked up and kind of spun around the tornado. So it kind of gotten mushy. And so it just kind of splattered when it hit the car. So that's probably my most exciting chase. The other chase was 2-3 years ago. We actually saw a tornado up in Remington, Indiana on a marginal risk day. And we watched it go from basically nothing to a wall cloud to this beautiful white funnel that touched down for probably a good 45 seconds to a minute, stayed on the ground, and then went back up. And we just got to see the whole tornado genesis. And we were probably like 100 yards away from it. And so, I mean, that was an exciting chase, but it was just such a beautiful tornado out in the middle of nowhere. So it was one you could really enjoy, and you weren't like, oh, I hope that doesn't, hit houses or hit buildings or anything like that. So that was a very enjoyable chase as well.
What kind of car were you driving during that big hailstorm?
We were in a, let me think. We were in a, we've gone through so many cars storm chasing. No, I'm just kidding. We were in a Dodge Durango, I believe, at that time.
That should be like some sort of a promotion, able to withstand softball size hail.
There you go.
Maz, you're always looking for the money angle.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
So JT, is the 74 outbreak, is it still being talked about in Indiana? Do they still, do you hear stories about it all the time from the old timers?
Yeah. So, and the nice thing, and the thing is, actually, I was talking about Brian Wilkes earlier. He done a big study on that. And that's like, he talks all the time about that. If we have him at ChaserCon, he talks about that a lot. And yeah, the 74 outbreak for Indiana, at least, is still kind of the, I guess, the epitome of tornado outbreaks in this region. Obviously you still have like Dixie Alley and those kind of outbreaks, but, but for up here, yeah, that's still widely talked about.
Okay.
Any other questions? I think that about does it. And that is the sound, gentlemen. It is time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of flashy questions. We always play with our guests. We always invite our listeners to play along with us as well. But tonight's version, so we're going to pit. The fun part of having two guests means we can actually make this like a game show. We can actually pit you two against each other. So tonight we're going to play a little version of Hollywood Squares.
Oh, okay.
Little version of Hollywood Squares.
Generational thing.
A little bit, but hey, everyone knows tic-tac-toe, right?
Sure.
So if you know tic-tac-toe, you pretty much know how the game is played. So what I'm going to do, instead of doing X's and O's, I'm going to do lightning bolts, and I'm going to do sunny skies or a shining sun. We're going to play a little tic-tac-toe.
Severe clear.
And so JT, you're going to be the lightning bolt.
Okay.
Chris, you're going to be the sunshine, and
I already
don't
won.
take anything personal.
Yeah.
Don't take anything personal on that.
You're a shining star. no
And
matter
of
who you
course, our celebrity guests are going to be our freaks. So we've got MJ, we got Maz, and we've got Kim that are going to be our celebrity guests. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm just going to have you pick what part of the tic-tac-toe board you want to take, and I'm going to ask a question of the celebrity guests, and they're going to give me an answer, and all you have to do is agree or disagree with their answer. If you get it right, you get your symbol in the square. If you get it wrong, the opposing person gets their symbol in the square. Okay, but to win, you have to get it right to win. Okay, you can't give up. Like if it's to win and you get it wrong, your opponent doesn't get that square. Make sense?
Okay.
Last one
All
went
right.
for 4 hours. Just saying.
It did. Well,
that's
it did
gotta be
partly because I didn't remember the rules. Is usually how that goes. So here's what we're gonna do. So here's our board. It is a normal tic-tac-toe board.
Oh,
We
look at that.
flipped a coin. We flipped a coin behind the scenes, and JT, you won. So you get to start off.
Okay.
Tell me, which square would you like to go for?
We're gonna go middle.
We're gonna go middle square. Okay. So for the middle square, this is to MJ. MJ, the number of tornadoes reported so far in 2019 for Indiana was 39, which was higher than Virginia's. Is that true or false? Did Indiana so far, are they coming in higher than Virginia when it comes
True.
to tornado reports?
I'm going true.
You're going to say true. So JT, do you agree or disagree?
I would agree.
And that would be correct. That would be correct. So we're gonna get our little. I gotta find our lightning bolt. This is bad old school.
Wow, that's-
way here. But anyway, yeah, it takes a little while. There we go. Bam,
Flip it.
lightning bolt. All right,
Nice.
Chris.
Every time we get a lightning bolt, can I pull out the lightning McQueen ka-chow kind of thing?
Oh,
Do
go
whatever
for
you'd
it.
like to do.
We're Shazam.
You have the power to do
Shazam.
that. All right, Chris. Get what are you shooting for?
Oh, let's go top left.
Top left. So we're gonna go top left. All right, Maz. This is coming to you. So here's the question. These are hail reports for 2019. Virginia is coming in with more hail reports than Indiana, with 62 so far for the year. Is that true or false?
That is false.
That is false. So you're saying Indiana is coming in with more hail reports. So Chris, do you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
That is incorrect. That would be true. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go back to our board, and upper left. That's going to get the lightning bolt.
Oh.
So we're
Ka-chow.
moving fast. Ka-chow.
Yeah.
Shazam threw him off. That's what it was.
I wouldn't have trusted Maz either, by the way.
All right, there we go. So
What?
JT, we're going to you. What would you like to take?
Well, I guess that bottom right corner.
Bottom right corner. So this would be
We're going in for the
potentially
kill.
for the win. So Kim, this is going to
Oh
you.
boy. Okay.
The question is this: compiled the number of lightning deaths from 1959 to 1994 between Indiana and Virginia. Who do you think has the most lightning deaths during that time period?
I will say
I know.
let's just go with Virginia, because seems like Indiana keeps
All right,
winning and everything.
so Kim says Virginia has more lightning deaths during that time period. Would you agree or disagree, JT?
I would disagree.
That would be
Yay!
correct.
Wow.
Indiana actually has had the most lightning deaths during that time period.
More
So
golfers.
This was super unfair because I'm very good at Indiana climatology.
You also
Well, I'll
got
tell
the
you what,
golfers.
you turned the 4-hour game from last time into a 4-minute game. So Which I'll be
Nice.
honest with you, it's okay because I don't think I had enough questions to really go for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, JT.
So I think we're all good. So great job on that. All right, guys. So here's what I want to do. First off, I'm going to give you a quick opportunity. Plug your convention for this year with any information you want to share, where people can find or get tickets, etc. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Give us some info on Mid-Atlantic ChaserCon.
Certainly. It will be on Saturday, October 26th at the Science Museum of Virginia in Richmond. Tickets are available at midatlanticchasercon.com, if you can remember that. And we have, as I mentioned before, we have speakers everywhere from Dr. John Scala from Pennsylvania down through the Carolinas to Brad Panovich from Charlotte, North Carolina. We have two different National Weather Service offices represented, both Raleigh, North Carolina, and Wakefield, Virginia. We have a chaser panel coming in to talk from perspectives of what chasing in Virginia versus chasing out on the Great Plains is like. We have three panelists who will be talking about that. And we also have, for those of you that know Dr. Bill Hark, he's a fairly well-known chaser. He happens to also be on our advisory team. He's going to be giving a presentation as a professional photographer. And I like the title of his talk. It's tips and tricks for storm chasers to improve their photos and to avoid post-chase misery when those awesome storm photos don't look so good.
That's a run-on sentence, man.
That's true. That's a long title.
Good. So Chris, where can people find out more information and follow the convention? And then also you personally, how can they follow you on social media?
Sure. Well, the convention, there is a Facebook page, Mid-Atlantic ChaserCon. There's also a Twitter account it's at mchasercon. Excuse me. And my personal Twitter handle is at Chris VA Victor Alpha WX.
Cool. All right, JT, tell us about Indiana ChaserCon this year. What's going on and how can they find out more information?
All right, so it is Saturday, November 16th this year, and the icebreaker is the 15th, which is that Friday beforehand. It's in Danville, Indiana. That's just west of Indianapolis, and that's actually at the 4-H fairgrounds. They have a nice big convention center there we've been using, and it holds tons of people. It's a great facility. They do wonders for us there. So we'll be doing that on the 16th of November. We have speakers coming in, and those are, some of those speakers are going to be going to be really good. We have Dr. Robert, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Tenamachi. She's an assistant professor at Purdue University. So she's going to be talking, I think, a bit about her research she's done with some of the mobile radars. We've got Rick McCoy, who's the director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management out of Van Wert, Ohio. He does a lot of EMA presentations from around the nation. He's very well respected. Kerry Meltzer is going to be there from SVL. He's going to be talking. So we've got several, and we've got 2 or 3 more. So we've got that lined up. You can go to indchasercon.com and check us out there. If you want to, register, you can register there. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at INChaserCon. If you want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us at Indiana Storm Chasers Convention. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Met_Cooper, MET_COOPER.
Very good. What?
What you guys didn't see was I had a massive cramp in my leg while JT was talking.
No.
Thank you for not doing it.
I almost swore I'm standing up going, shit, I hope he keeps talking because I can't talk right now. It's killing me.
That's when you're like, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Can you do that again?
Oh,
Say that
my
again.
God.
Middle thing
Okay.
again.
It happens
So
when you get
that's
old,
good.
Phil.
It's
All right.
potassium.
Anything else you guys want to plug? Last call. We're good.
I think we're good.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about some hashtag weather fools. We'll see you when we get back. All right, good job, guys.
I wondered what was going
Glad
on.
you survived.
Some happy
MJ
gags
was
there.
probably the only one that could see my video of me standing up because it wasn't being shown anywhere else. But oh my God, that hurts so bad.
Oh, Phil.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
You should be drinking
I need
Gatorade
water.
instead of
Yeah, I
whatever
know.
you're
I need
drinking there.
water. and
Probably. Eating
drinking-
bananas.
Drinking
So
Mountain Dew and
Yeah.
beer all day today.
I got a question. Can the rest of you, when I go to a full screen of somebody, can the rest of you not see anybody?
Correct.
I can't.
Oh,
Correct.
We
so
see
you don't
ourselves.
see the little thumbnails below. Only I
No.
get
No.
that.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
Yeah.
No.
gotcha.
I see my thumbnail, and that's it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop biting your nails, man. I'm just saying.
All right, guys. So the question is, you guys want to stick around for the
Yeah.
last few segments?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
All right.
As long as it doesn't drag on for 4 hours, I'm good.
It's only the
never
Bears
can
and
tell.
Packers tonight, right?
You
Some
can never
people leave
tell.
us comments and say it sounds like 4 hours, but
You can never tell.
Wait, who said that?
The Packers
One of
are
our
on
viewers?
tonight?
The Packers and the Bears are playing right now.
Oh, that's why.
Oh,
are they
That's
really?
Right.
Packers
Wow.
shirts in the
Yeah.
store.
turn that
today.
on.
Go
Yeah.
Bears.
Okay.
I
know
hate
what
All
that.
right,
John
bye
Styles
guys.
would
I
be.
gotta go. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Our guests are staying, but Kim is heading out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna, if you guys can help out and give us a quick plug. So JT, I'll have you go first. Just say hi. This is JT Cooper from the Indiana Chaser Convention, or whatever title you want to give it. And you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Ready?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Joseph Cooper, and I am a founder of the Indiana Storm Chasers Convention, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Beautiful.
That's
Joseph.
wonderful.
Joseph.
Joseph.
I went
When
full
did he-
name.
You did.
He's sounding all special.
No
and
one will know.
everything.
They'll go, I knew a JT.
Yeah, I know.
Nah, they'll know.
Fuck is Joseph Cooper? All right, Chris. Chris, you're up. Same thing. This is Chris White from Mid Atlantic ChaserCon. You're listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Hi, this is Chris White from Mid Atlantic ChaserCon, and you're listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Oh, that
Wow.
always
You guys
sounds
are
so
good.
Two
Yeah.
in one
I know.
take.
That's great.
It's unusual.
That sounds so good. Okay, so we got Weather Fools is the only main thing that we're going to cover. Maz, so we'll come out of break with applause to you.
Who's got him?
I've got one.
I've got 4.
I was going to say that they're full. We have a ton of them probably from this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, thanks, Dorian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully
Well,
one of them is the Jeep in the water.
Oh, that's what I have. Does somebody
Okay.
else have that one?
Cool. No,
Okay,
I don't know if
good.
I'm
I've
allowed
got
to
it.
say anything, but I was going to say, is any of it the altered NHC forecast?
the Trump altered and
Oh, that one, yeah.
how much of that was true? And
None of it.
What?
Okay.
I don't think I heard anything.
Oh
about
no!
that.
I mean, it was true. He did that. It's
oh,
not true
right.
that it was ever forecast. to
Like,
hit
did he
Alabama.
talk about it, or did someone just
Well,
like do something on
No,
his board?
no.
and-
So what he did was,
Yeah.
of course, initially he said it was forecast to, and then of course it never was. And then so he went back like yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, and he had a cone, the cone of uncertainty. But he took a magic marker and actually drew in Alabama with it, and it doesn't. It's not even close.
Doesn't even
like
match
it-
the cone,
See,
right?
I actually thought it was like a Babylon Bee or the Onion article or something like that. Like that's how comical I found it.
That's
Yeah.
what I initially. That's what I thought it was too.
I did
Until
too.
I
I
saw
thought it was
all kinds of
satire.
people reporting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get too up in arms about it. I just thought it was
People
really
still
funny.
confuse warning and watch. You
Oh,
know,
I know.
it's like, you can't
Yeah.
give them too hard of a time. But
Right.
anyway,
So we'll let ladies go first on this one. Kim.
yeah.
Hey,
can do
MJ, show the screen because I'm showing a picture of
Wait a minute, where am
Whoa.
There it is.
of the extra little cone they drew in to say, oh, and Alabama's in the path.
I? Well, I think he got confused with what the models were showing, and I think that's what.
Well,
When
but
was
then
this?
he saw the spaghetti plots, but at the
Yes.
bottom it says, "Do not make official decisions.
Right.
Please turn to the National Hurricane Center and the NWS."
Oh, come
And
on.
it's like everything
Only
was right
meteorologists
there.
know that. I'm not defending, but I'm saying I think people are harder on him because who he is.
Oh, I didn't really care. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
No, they
It
always
was
are hard
funny.
on him,
I agree.
But
Yeah.
it's moments like that open the door too often. That is I think his his Achilles heel.
Mhm.
Is he opens the door too often for those opportunities.
Did somebody just open the door too? I thought I heard something.
I did
thought I
too.
heard that.
That was weird.
What was that?
That's a good sound effect. I don't have that one on my.
It's not quite October yet, so.
All right, so we're coming back, Maz. I've got 4. Kim's got 1. Anybody else? Weatherfool.
Crap.
You know, I
guys.
had a couple listener contributions, but I can save them for next time because we've got a bunch already. And hey, they'll still be good then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll still be good then.
All right.
Or you could give one to me, and they'll never know.
I could. Well,
so I'm just kidding.
I could
All
do
right.
one of them. I'll do.
I'm just kidding.
Well, no, go because they're the same. We'll save them. It'll be good.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So, and then Maz, episode 87, stormfrontfreaks.com or your podcast app show notes.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay.
I'll take it over. Freak Fan Box. MJ, we got something for that.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Okay,
then I'll
before
close
we
this out.
start,
Yeah.
before
go
we
ahead.
start, do I hit share screen first?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, we should do that now. Yes.
Please.
Yeah. Set up your
Help me.
screen now, because then once it's set up, MJ can go back and forth to
Okay.
you and to your screen.
Yep.
So hit share screen
Yep.
first.
Yep.
And then pick
Okay.
what you want to share.
What episode
right.
was the
I
skeletons?
sure hope.
I don't know. I did go back and watch that one again one time.
I've
though.
seen it, and it's still
cried again.
just
I gotta
as funny.
see it.
Oh my goodness!
Okay. Now what happened to it? Are you kidding me?
Good
I have
times.
it done.
Sorry. Maybe you guys should have somebody else go. I don't know where it went.
No, we figured
Are we
it out
back?
now,
No,
which
we're
is
not
good.
back
Yeah,
yet.
we're not
Fine.
back yet. We're okay.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we're
All
not.
right.
Kim's all worried. Oh my God, we're back.
I can't find it now.
The guys
Oh,
in
there it
Germany
is.
are
I
like,
found it. I
Schnell,
found it.
Schnell.
Okay. Okay. Do you see it? Anybody?
MJ's
No.
got to be the one to say.
No,
Oh.
you have to actually. You have to choose it and then click something again, share or something. Let me see.
Okay. Wait a minute. I see. Wait a minute.
Didn't we get scolded by Phil about this once?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
but
I-
we were
I
trying to
did.
do it while we were recording, and at
That's
least
why I
now
wanted
with
to
this
ask
setup,
ahead of
we
time.
can do it ahead of time.
I
And
think I was scolded.
yeah,
Okay. So I'm sharing. I
So-
don't know
so
how to
I
do
pick
it.
your-
scold anybody that
Pick
can't
your
figure it
app.
out.
Pick your. It says your entire screen or application window or whatever.
Yes.
Pick what you want and then go down to the lower right and click share.
Okay. But I do that and then that goes away.
Huh? Oh, what are you trying to share? Is it a web?
Twitter.
Just try
Share
sharing the
your
entire
screen.
screen once.
Share entire
Okay.
screen.
All
Right.
right. Okay.
Because maybe
Okay.
there's something going on with that that's not.
Bet our guests
Okay.
are happy they stayed.
I bet they are
Yeah.
too.
Like, I thought you said it wasn't going to be 4 hours.
That's right.
No, sorry, you guys.
Hey, I am old.
no.
You know?
Sensing a nap. Could be the beer, but, you know.
let me do a cancel here. Let me try. Let me start it again. Okay, so hit share screen.
Yep.
Hit share.
Well,
hit
no, you
the-
got to pick something out of that. Whatever opens,
You got to
have to
click.
actually
You got to click
it.
on entire screen. You got to click on entire screen before you say share.
Okay, it's there.
Okay, then hit share. Share probably then like turn
because
to
it
color.
doesn't come available until you like click. There it is. There it is. There it is. I got it.
Yay!
See,
Okay.
now
Keep it
I
up.
can do this. There it is. Right.
just
So,
leaving it there.
Oh man.
so just now just leave it. You're good.
Okay, it's there. Okay. Such a trip.
Oh wait, here we go.
Hashtag salt life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is insane. Oh, so many good ones today.
We're still live.
Okay, but now you have to stop the video that's playing.
Oh, shoot.
Was that us?
That was. I was trying to play the video. I don't think that was the video though. I don't think that was the right one.
Oh, the skeletons?
Yeah, it wasn't the
It
skeleton.
was like September, October.
It was
that.
was it Halloween?
It was
might
near
have been.
Halloween.
Pretty
It was
close.
It was near
close.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Because I keep that one up all the time. Okay. All right, let's see. So I have to stop sharing.
No, you're good.
No,
You're
no,
good.
Yeah, just
All right,
leave it up.
stay
there.
No,
I'm not touching a thing.
Step away from the mouse.
All right.
Okay, are we ready to go now?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Thank
please.
God. All right, JT and Chris, this better be good, right? You've been waiting for this.
I
crap.
stayed for this. No.
All right, so coming back, Maz, in 3, 2.
All right, welcome back. Hey, time now for Weather Fools. This is the part of the show where there's a whole bunch this week, by the way, of people doing ridiculous stuff in the weather they probably shouldn't be. And with the hurricane, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So, Kim, ladies first tonight.
All right, hopefully I can get through this without laughing too hard. All right, we're looking at Twitter right now. This is the Daily's Twitter account, and he sent out a tweet to Ed Piotrowski. You know, he's a chaser, and he said, "Hey, what's your hot take on this one?" And of course, this has to do with Hurricane Dorian, and I really honestly do not know where this is exactly, but I'm going to play the video, and when you guys see this, I'll describe it too. But there's actually, and I'm trying to think, that might be a Subaru. That's the only thing I could think of that might be out there in the ocean. I mean, it's on the beach, but waves are coming up over it. And this guy, maybe the driver, I don't know, is sitting on top of it with waves coming at him, the surf coming up, and he is sitting there in a yoga pose. He looks like he's meditating and just sitting there and, doing, I'm not sure. If I could hear him, it's probably what he was saying. But then all of a sudden he disappears. He's not there anymore. And the car's getting, taken away by the ocean. So I think he is the biggest weather fool. Or maybe that's not his car. I don't know. But why is there a car sitting on the beach like that in the ocean?
Was that staged? Because that looks like still a pretty new car. So the question is, was that staged? Because that's one option. Or the other option is just like, did he drive too far and then he got stuck in the soft sand, couldn't get out when the surf just kept rising and the surge was coming in? And then he's like, all right, let's make some video out of this.
Right. Yeah, I just want to go viral or something. I mean, that's a good question. Does anybody know? Anybody know?
JT, was that staged? Did you know him?
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My best friend, he was mad at his buddy and took his car. No, I actually heard that it was a Jeep. And the guy thought that it would be fun just to see if he could drive it like through the waves and through the sand. I guess he took four-wheel drive too seriously. That was what I heard.
That's not a Jeep.
You don't think it's not a Jeep?
No,
it might be a Grand Cherokee. It might be a newer one.
But anyways, I don't know that. I mean, I have no proof of that. That's not, but that's just a rumor that I heard.
Several car companies on line one right now.
Now we lost another sponsor.
It failed, whatever it was. Okay. All right. Should I stop sharing now? Are we done talking about this?
It doesn't matter. You can keep it.
You're good.
That's your cue, man.
All right, Phil, you've got a few, I think.
I got a few. So number one, thanks to Dorian. So number one, I'm going to share with you. This was from Twitter. I happened to see it. This was viral, but this was at Tyler_Vasquez had this on. He said, from a mobile home park in Palm Bay, this man has some ideas on how the military could stop hurricanes. So I'm going to play this audio for you.
Can't see how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, oh, it said this, but it's going to hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come and drop ice in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as it's going? There's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, it's now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse, but you tell us, oh, it's the warm weather. Oh, it's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Drive some Air Force planes around to get the winds going the opposite way. The Navy to go in circles to fight it the other way.
It's like a roundabout, right?
Brilliant.
Theoretically.
What do the Marines do? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, let's get the whole group involved. All right, so that's number one. Number two is from the Washington Examiner. I'll find which one this one is. And this was the former. This was an article about the former Canadian Prime Minister made a comment that she hoped Hurricane Dorian strikes a direct hit on Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Obviously, she apparently doesn't like Trump, but it's Kim Campbell, served as the 19th Canadian Prime Minister. for less than 5 months in 1993.
Shocking.
I don't know the reasoning for that, but anyway, made some comment. I'm rooting for a direct hit on Mar-a-Lago.
Oh my God.
Sometimes
That's even
things you
anything.
think you shouldn't say.
So much hate.
I know. All right, next
Wow.
one from Twitter. So this was at Severe Weather EU. They always got some good ones because there's a lot of weather fools around the world. But this was a video talking about the big floods in Monterrey, Mexico. This was August 25th. 25th. I'll have a drink to that. And
Australia.
it shows basically a highway underpass ramp that's completely flooded, and there are dozens of cars underwater in this underpass. And so the question is, how did they get there? Like, were these cars that probably thought, we can make it through, and then realize, oh crap, we can't, stalled, and then obviously the waters probably rose even higher. But how did all of these cars end up
Oh my God.
underwater? and if you watch a little bit here into the video, there's one. It looks like you see the back end of it. It's like it's floating up and down. It's like the bottom is weighed down at the bottom, and the back of the car is just barely above the surface of the water. But anyway, a lot of weather fools on that one. So yeah, I've got 4 weather fools, but if you count that, there's probably a couple dozen right there. The last one comes from KSN.com. This is obviously in Kansas. But the article is dozens of Kansans rescued from Arizona desert by park officials who warned them not to enter. And so what happened was this group of 44 fitness coordinators, right? We can do it. Temperatures were well above 100 degrees and an excessive heat warning was issued. Park officials say they advised the group not to hike, but they did it anyway, and a couple hours later, more hikers needed to be rescued from the heat exhaustion. You know, the problem is, guys, when you don't listen to the officials, and then you get yourself in trouble, now you put the officials and the rescuers in trouble at the same time.
For sure.
It's not just yourself, but you're putting other people at risk as well. So there was 44 there. There's a couple dozen underwater, plus the prime minister and our military expert. So that was like 50 weather fools right there, folks.
I have another one, but I'll save it.
Dang.
But dang, I'm telling you, there were so many.
There are a lot. All right. Well, in case you missed any of those links, you can check us out at stormfrontfreaks.com, episode 87, or in your podcast app. We'll be able to show you in the show notes area where they are. So that was it for Weather Fools. What's next?
Send me a postcard, drop me a line.
You've got mail, baby.
Yeah, all right. It's time to check our freak fan box, MJ. What do we got?
We got mail, and we had 50-some weather fools. We had a couple contributions, Christine, Lunalight, and Parker Owens. We're going to save those, folks, so don't worry. We'll save them for next time because we were jam-packed this time. But thank you always for those of you who send us weather fools as well. And then we had James Wilson at Tornado Kid 3 tweeted out to us and said, would love to win a copy of Weathering Life by James Spann. Love your podcasts. So we appreciate that, James.
Good book.
And it was an excellent book for sure. So that's our fan box. Find us on facebook.com/stormfrontfreaks or our Twitter handle @stormfrontfreak. Or email us questions at stormfrontfreaks.com or snail mail at no snail mail. All right.
I was gonna say
Or fax us.
God,
That's right.
That's right. I was always thinking of getting some kind of sound effect for our freak fan box with the old modem sound.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be pretty
Or
appropriate.
dial
But
up.
hey,
that would be good.
that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. Thanks for listening and watching. Before I reveal our next guest, if you enjoy our show, do us a favor. Leave us a great review on your podcast app. And if it's something like if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, you can write it down and we'll actually share that on our next show. Or just tag us on your social media account. We'll share that as well. But don't forget to subscribe to the show. You just hit your podcast app subscribe button. Works just like a magazine or a newspaper subscription. It's free, and it guarantees that you'll get the latest show delivered right to your podcast inbox the moment we release that. Hey, special thanks to our guests tonight, JT Cooper, Chris White. Thank you, gentlemen. It was definitely great having you on, and thanks for sharing that. Certainly, if you have any questions about any of those ChaserCons, or if you're thinking of starting your own, definitely reach out to those guys. Our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to be recording live September 19th with the author of The Weather Machine, Andrew Blum. I also heard that Weather Trollbot 5000, I think we're going to be able to pull her out of the garage again.
There's tons for that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been building up some inputs for her. But if you'd like to watch the recording live, it's going to be at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Just check us out on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com, search Stormfront Freak. So for MJ, Maz, Kim, JT, and Chris, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we'll catch you guys next time. Good night,
See ya.
everybody. See ya.
Good night, everybody.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for your
good
time.
job. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
So wonderful. You guys did a great job.
Good to be had.
So what we'll do is, we edit this, we edit the audio, so the audio will be posted probably Sunday-ish. I'll certainly make some posts on social media, so you can use those or tag those or do whatever, but we'll have that out probably Sunday-ish. Okay?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, gentlemen. You're awesome. And then we also will have a couple more announcements for your shows, for your podcasts, for your ChaserCons. Sorry, wow. So we have a couple more of those we'll hit too to try and help you guys out. So we
Okay,
can
thanks.
get you guys some more.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right.
Good luck,
Good
you
night,
guys.
guys. Thank you.
Have a
Yeah,
good
good
one.
luck.
Have a
See
good
ya.
evening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right, good.
That's fun.
Ending the broadcast.
Hey,
Ending the
Phil, I was
broadcast.
thinking,
Yes.
you know,